Hello and welcome to the Backstage Pass for our stamp class today. It is that time of the week that we get to have some fun and enjoy one another's company, all while doing something we enjoy doing, and that is stamping. Lori Healy, hello and welcome to today's class. Lori is here and I can't quite tell who the other, and Kat. Awesome, Lori and Kat. Thank you for being here. Good morning. You are my cues to officially begin with. Good Thursday morning and welcome to Technique Time. Today's class is the Frames and Flowers DSP. We're focusing on that and it's going to be fabulous. Now, I will say we have 5 projects today. We may not finish all 5 of them in class. But there's 2 of them that are so simple and quick that you can look at a picture and stick it together. So, Mary, hello. Carolyn, hello. Kat, hello. Lori Healy, hello. Let's see who else. There were some others that popped on. Super glad to have, oh, there's 12. Whoa, I don't know who the 12 are. Karen, hello. Jan, good. Jan, you got here. I'm glad. Alicia, hello. So it's awesome to have so many people here. And thank you for saying hello. It makes it so fun. Laura, hello. And Kathleen, hello. And oh, so many. And there was one that I just missed. Barbara, Laura, Rose in Palmdale, California. Karen, awesome. Well, all right. And Deanna, hello, Deanna. All right. So today's class, like I said, it's pretty loaded. What else is new? Do I ever make them easy? Well, anyhow, you know, I like to go above and beyond and just do a little extra. But anyhow, I revel in the process of creating. And so that's why I kind of think I gravitate to your artfully avid card style. So, all right, on with today's show. A little bit of news and background. Poor little Han Solo. I said he was weak and I recognized the signs, and sure enough, he just couldn't quite handle life. And unfortunately, he died just a day short of being 2 weeks old. And in those 2 weeks, he only lost weight. He didn't gain any weight. So I'm just not sure. I've never lost an entire litter before, but anyhow, it happens. And we've spoken to several other people where it's happened to them as well, but we just don't quite know why. But anyhow, it's been an interesting few. Poor connection. I don't like seeing that sign come up. I'm in my good spot in the house next to the connection here. Hello, Julie. Good to have you here. All right. So a little bit of business. Let's just do this announcement. Hopefully you remember this awesome starter kit special. And this is going to be a really, really cool one. Hello, Nancy. Thank you for the saris. Yeah, I just, poor Livy, we'll just bypass this announcement right here. We know that there's this awesome special going on right now, and it's a great thing. Join in my team, and you'll have some good fun. But I'll go back to the little dogs. Livy, she's just now kind of coming out. She would walk around and just kind of whimper, and she would sniff around looking for him. So, but I think she's doing a little better. She's now eating right too. So, okay, so that announcement. Let's just flip the screen here and I'll give you what's coming up, and let's see what's coming up, and then we'll stamp. So here comes the hand. Sorry about that lost connection. I don't know why it does that, It just is funky sometimes. Okay, so we are here for this class today for our Frames and Flowers, but next week in Seeing Ink Spots on my business page, we will upstyle our The Best There Is Paper Pumpkin Kit. That's going to be fun. That will be next Thursday. I believe next Tuesday will be Stampin' Up will do their alternative video at that time. If you don't have the Thanks and Beyond dies, I would recommend those. They are fabulous. And let's see, the week after that, we will have our Use It Up class, and some of you received your Use It Up packet in your, along with your kit this month. We're going to be using up the Sweet Thoughts Memories and More card pack along with the cards themselves. So if you have those or any Memories and More, let's have some fun using them up and making some pretty simple cards. We're going to just, create with the layers that we have in these packets. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. And then you guys get ready for the Country Woods Studio Ink Spots Stamp Camp. The information is on my blog. If you go back to May 1st, you'll find that information there. These are the stamp sets that we're going to focus on in that camp, and it's going to be a blast. It's 4 sessions of a lot of fun. All right. So there's stamp presentations, stamp classes, obviously. There are games. There's just virtual swapping. There's challenges, card challenges. It's super, super fun. So those who have participated in the past, thank you, Laura, for saying excited for your camp. Laura has attended quite a few, as well as several others that are here. They're good fun. There's a lot to them. And it's just good fun to interact with one another. Okay, what else is coming up? I'm going to jump to July. We'll upstyle for sure the first week. The second week, our Use It Up class is going to be so cute. We're going to take a look at the Sweet Peas stamp set. This is going to be a watercolor class, and it's going to be fun. And we will be using up our new In Color DSP. Okay. And then let's see, pickup class in July will be the Tune In bundle. All right. This is kind of fun. It's a quirky little set, different than anything I have. And I have stamped with it in the last several days, and it is kind of fun. It's fun to have something different. And, it just really, I enjoyed it. So, and we'll talk more about it later. And then you asked for it, folks, by popular demand. July's Technique Time will be the Mediterranean Blooms Sweet Collection. So why is there not Technique Time in June? And that's because we will have the Country Woods Studio Ink Spots will kind of take place of Technique Time instead. So our next Technique Time after this one today will be the end of July, and it will be the Mediterranean Blooms online not online. It's an online stamp class, but it's a sweet collection. So that's what's coming up. Hopefully you guys will enjoy those classes, and mark your calendars to join in and along with those. Let me just clean up the area here, get things settled and out of my way so that I have plenty of room to craft today. So Nancy and Carrie must know each other, because Nancy says, the peas are just for you, Rose Carrie. That's so awesome. So Rose, you must like that little pea set. It is really, really cute. And I do actually like peas. I love to eat them. I think they're yummy. Okay, so here we go. Here is your kit for today. And if you don't have a kit, hopefully you have your PDF and you've worked off of that. Laura says she calls her students Sweet Peas, so I'm going to need to get that. It is really, really cute. I like the little grumpy one. I just think super cute. Okay. So as we unpack our kits here, we're going to do something a little different than what we normally do. And that is, well, first off, I normally don't do, and I tried it for this one, is I've never shipped you a full packet of paper and not have it be in a box. And so I was a little nervous, but I'm like, oh, I hope it works. And I was seeing that it looked pretty successful. If yours came bent, I'm super sorry, and I will help, if that's a problem, we'll get that fixed. So, all right. So here's your kit, and I'm going to pull my paper out for now because we're going to do something. I said we were going to do something a little different. So we did start with saying that, never have I done it this way. Okay, I'm bringing that out. Marilyn is here. Awesome. So Karen says, since I'm new, will this video be available? Yes. Yes, I save all of the videos. I don't ever delete them. And there you can go back and rewatch everything, okay? So there's also, I will tag you in a post that I shared maybe a week ago or so, and that was how to find the past videos, because they're not under videos, they're under events. Okay, because these are Facebook Live events, and that's how they're stored. So if you go into events, you'll find everything. All right, so not sure. Okay, mine got to the East Coast in great shape. I was impressed. Well, the specialty DSPs have this cardboard backing, and so that's why it's, you know, I was able to do it. The others have the little lighter weight. You know, just the little, you know, poster board behind them. So you thought that class didn't start until 10. It starts at 10 Mountain Time. So I'm not quite sure what time zone you're in, Cindy, but Mountain Time, or we could call it Stampin' Up time, because I am in the same time zone as Stampin' Up. But yeah, I start at 10 o'clock in the mornings on Thursdays. Is pretty standard. We do have a class coming up that'll be on a Wednesday, but that's because, of a 4th of July or something. Anyway, okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take these papers out of the way. Our top 3, you have your DSP sheets. I'm going to take these out of the way for right now. And I'm also going to remove this sheet for right now as well. We'll get back to those in just a minute. And what we're going to do, hold on, I lost a piece. A piece flew out. Now, I opened my pack and then I closed my pack back up. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this sheet out of the way for just a second. You can see they're laser cut in there, so they might pop out. And it looks like I lost a few on this other side here. But we're going to pop some of these out. Let me kind of put them back in place. This one was here. Now, where did that guy go? There he is. Okay. So, your kit in California came in perfect shape. I call everyone Sweet Pea. I called the guard at the Walmart. Oh, that's so funny. On your way. Hey, you probably made their day, right? Okay, so grab we're going to do this to both sheets here. This one here, but look for the one that has, I guess let's look for the one that has the 2 corner pieces in it. There's a couple corners, but we're going to punch these pieces out, and I'm going to start at the top of this page. And so I want you to find the piece that looks like this, okay? And you're going to either use a tray or something, but I'm going to collect my pieces, and that way we'll have them for what we're going to use today. So this is going to be for our first card today. Hi. Hello, Tandra is on. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to need that. That's in the number 1 tray. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything else in this sheet that goes to number 1. Yes. So in this sheet, we're going to grab this piece as well. Okay. And I'll show all of the pieces for number 1 once I'm done. So this piece for number 1. And there's another one similar to it on another sheet. Yes, okay. So I'm just looking at this sheet for right now. Yep, this one right here. We need that one. Again, I'm working from the sheet that has the 2 corner pieces in it. So that's also for number 1. I'm just looking to see if I have any other number 1s on here. I don't think I do. And rather than moving this around, I'm going to bring in this other one and set it on top. Okay. So looking at this sheet, so to kind of, you know, maybe if you're recognizing things, I'm going to pop this one out as well. This is a number 1. Okay. And this large piece here is for our first card as well. We're using a bunch of these, folks. Hey, I say if you have them, use them, right? And I'm just trying to see if I have any other number 1s on here. I think that is all of my number ones. Okay, so those will be for card number 1. I'm gonna just do something real fast here. I'm gonna cover all this up and I'm gonna show you what we use in number 1. We're gonna use that piece, 2 of those. They're similar, but on different sheets, okay? And then we have these 2 as well. So these are the pieces we're going to be using from our laser cut sheets. This is card number 1. Now, this seems a little bit crazy, but we're gonna do this for each card so that we don't have to keep coming back to these crazy sheets that are partially cut, right? All right, let's start with number 2. And since we have this sheet out, let's start with this one. So this sheet, from this sheet, I'm going to pull this. It's not a full wreath, but this wreath right here, we're gonna use that, is gonna be for number 2. Card number 2. Okay. That. And so I'm going to set that in a different section on my tray. You might just make a pile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So also right here in this area, look, we have a bunch of pieces here for 2. This little flower, this kind of eucalyptus leaf. So they're all kind of right here in this area. Okay. Pick this up. Get that guy. That leaf. There's a flower here. We're going to take both of these. This project, so number 2 is the hardest project that we're going to do. This one that was on the side, we need that one. Let's see, we want both of these. There's 2 of these kind of right near each other. There's that one. And then this one right here. It's very similar. So please, if you have questions, pop them in the comments right away and hopefully I will see them. See that comment. Okay. All right. That one kind of popped out. Any other number 2s on this page? I don't think so. All right. Let me switch to this page because I do have another number 2 here. And it's this big wreath. I'm going to leave this behind. So this large wreath is also for number 2. And I'm just looking to see if I have any other 2s on my page here. Yep, I do. I have one more, and it's this leaf right here. Okay, so let's go over what we're using for the number 2s. Let me put this back so I can cover that. We'll bring in this. Let's just review. These are the pieces for card number 2. We are going to be using these 2 large pieces here. We have another large, fairly large piece, that one. And then we have 3 of these, I'm going to call them eucalyptus leaves. Those 3 right there. Okay. I didn't mean to move that off the page so far. And we have 2 of these that are similar. Okay. And then we have 3 of these posies. So this is card number 2. Oh, Karen says, so happy to spend some time with you and the rest of the gals. That's right. Thursdays are fun days, right? They are stamp days. Of course, any day can be a stamp day, but our official day. Okay, moving right along. Let's go to card number 3. So card number 3, I'm looking on this sheet here for my 3s. Aha. This card number 3 is so easy, you guys. That's one of them that we might not do. So here's for card number 3. All right. I'm going to set that on this piece of paper here. And we'll move to the other sheet. And we're going to grab 3 of these posy flowers. 1. And it really doesn't matter size-wise. They're similar in size that it's all good. It doesn't have to be exact, but I did pull 3 of them. All right. So this is card number 3. Okay. That one's easy. Easy, easy, easy. So let me set that one aside and we'll work on card number 4. Card number 4 is also one of the easy, easy ones. And let's see. See if I remember even where I put them. Yeah, I did do them. I'm like, did I do it? It's so easy. It's like, so this piece here is for card number 4. And I'm just looking. Okay, so this is card number 4. Okay, I'm going to set that one there. And we have one more for card number 4. I believe it's on this page here. Yes, it's going to be down here in this corner. And it's this kind of double, it's kind of like a spiral eucalyptus. All right, so these are the 2 pieces for card number 4. So 3 and 4, card 3 and 4 are the really easy ones that you can look at and just put them together. They're not too tricky. That's for card number 4. And now let's do card number 5. And since we're on this sheet, card number 5, this little, that was inset right here in this wreath, this piece here, we want these 2 pieces of spiral eucalyptus. And I want this posy that's on this sheet. And let's see here. And I've got pieces that are falling out. So this one here is going to be on this card. And this one here. Okay. And this one here is not on the card, but mine has fallen out. So I'm just going to kind of set that aside. And I want you to pop this one out because we're going to need it. I just have to remember which card it goes in. I forgot to write it down. So pop this one out. I believe it's on card number 3. Okay. Is it card 3? Yeah, it is. It's card 3. Okay. Let's see here. I think that is it. Oh, here's one more. Let me just kind of turn this page a little bit. So see, this one's falling out. That one goes there. But we need this last flower there. And let me bring in the other sheet here because there are some things on this sheet that we need for card number 5. And we need this spray. Okay. And we need, we're going to use this big wreath here. That one. That's trash. And let's see, last, oh, nope, we have 2 more pieces. We're going to use this square. Okay. And we're going to use this piece right here as well. All right, so I'm going to go over the number 5s again. And then just kind of keep these handy because there may be some that I forgot to grab. But I wanted to get most of it out of the way so that we weren't battling with kind of these punch-out frames and whatnot. So that we just had that kind of done and set aside. All right, so let's go over number 5 one more time. So number 5 is a pretty big card. So the number 2 card and the number 5 card has a lot of stuff on it. Okay, so this is what we're using on number 5. Okay. Couple of those posies. All right, so these are the pieces for card number 5. All right, so hopefully you got all of those, but as we come into doing each card, we'll obviously go over them again. I almost feel like doing card number 5 right now since I have it all out, but that's not in my brain to do it that way. Live keeps freezing on me. You'll have to watch the replay. I am sorry. I'm not sure what's going on. It did kind of freeze up earlier. It seems to be okay on my end. I only saw that message once, so I hope it's not still doing it because that's frustrating. Okay, so let's begin. We've got our frames and flowers die cut pieces. Now let's turn to our packet here. And for those of you who are new to one of my technique classes, when you open these bags, these are packed in the order we're going to create the project. So usually there's a tag that says, what class it is. Okay, so it's technique time. I call these my smalls bags because I put all the little things in them, obviously. So comes and goes, frozen right now. Oh, so sorry. All right. So then what I do is my cards are packed or my kits are packed by cards. So what you're going to do is I will tell you how far down to go and then take up all of the pieces. So what I want you to do for this first card is you're going to reach down to the pretty peacock. There's 2 pieces of pretty peacock, and you're going to bring everything above it for card number 1. Keep your stack intact, okay? Because those are ready to go for our next projects. I'm just trying to find a good spot to put it where I don't mess them up. Here's a good spot. I found a spot. Okay, so, and then I just kind of keep this nearby because this is going to be for, throughout the projects. Okay, so then let me go back to my little tray here. And I'm going to bring in, this is my tray number 1 spot. And these are the loose pieces that we need. We're also, for this project, we are going to be using the Designer Series paper. And so there's a couple papers that we're going to need for this first project here. Okay, so our first project, we are going to be using this DSP here. And we are going to be using, whoops, I'm missing one. Here it is. I'm missing a piece. I'm like, I can't find it. Oh, I got it sticky. Hold on. This is the other side. I'm like, how come I can't find my DSP? All right, so we'll be using this DSP and this DSP. Then from here, all right, from this sheet here, we're going to use this panel right here. So let's pop this panel out. Okay, there it is. Okay, so now let's cut our DSP. They are easy cuts for our DSP on this card. All right, so let me set this stuff aside just a little bit. And our DSP cuts for this one, I like my chevrons to go this direction. And we want a piece of this that's going to be 12 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. All right, so let me put my piece here at 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut the entire piece. So I am 12 by 5 1/4. Set this aside. That's the remaining. And then this piece here, I want my foliage to work vertically as well. So I need to rotate it in my trimmer here. So I'll put that at 5 1/4. And I am going to cut the whole thing across. Set that aside. But this one only needs to be 8 inches long. So it's going to be 8 by 5 1/4. Save that. You never know when we're going to use it. I do know when we're going to use it. So there's that. Keep your trimmer nearby. Push your cutting blade out of the way. And we're going to put a score line. And go gentle because this is DSP. We're going to put a score line at 4 inches, okay? There is our 4-inch score line. And we're going to do the same thing with this piece. We're going to score it at 4 and we're going to score it at 8. Okay? And then after we do this, I'm going to show you the entire card because it might be a little confusing in the pictures. Hopefully you saw the pictures earlier today or last night rather. I did post them. I was kind of late. I told you it was a weird day, weird week. So yesterday, it's never a good phone call when somebody, says, hi, everyone's okay. So some lady turned in front of Jennifer and totaled the car. Jennifer was going 50 miles an hour, and the lady just drove straight across the street right into her. Both cars totaled. So spent the morning hospital. Everyone's okay. She broke her wrist, which isn't good when you have a chunky 1-year-old, right? So anyhow, that's how the day started. So things got posted a little bit later, needless to say. So Kayleen says she forgot to bring her DSP. Oh no! And she didn't realize that those sections were laser cut as well. Yeah, kind of nice and cool, Kayleen. Okay, so here are our pieces for this card. Let me show you this card in action. So it actually opens up, and it's kind of it's an interesting fold. You know, since we had all this DSP to work with, it's just kind of a fun, so the picture kind of shows it like that, but now you can kind of see, I've got all my notes on the back, let me take them off, but here's the back of the card. So if you wanted to add more, like say you wanted to do, you know, maybe you want to add a photo in here, there's options with this sort of layout. I just thought it was kind of a fun, different, unique type of layout. So this is what we're aiming for, folks. And we'll get there. Let's just see what we have. So let's, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually take all of my small pieces. So our punch outs that were in the DSP, and then the punches that I've given you in your kit. I'm going to set all of that aside for right now and just work with these larger pieces, okay? So let's score. Well, we've already scored, but let's fold on our DSP. And so if we look at our card here, our DSP, so you're holding your chevron paper, I'm going to fold, the first fold will be a mountain, and then the second fold will be a valley, okay? There it is, easy enough, and I'll burnish those in just a second. This lighter foliage and floral piece, this is going to be a valley fold. So let's just burnish those. And before we put anything together, we're going to make a die cut. Okay. See if I can't straighten that out. I just kind of wrinkled my thing. Okay, we are going to make this die cut in this window here. Now, if you don't have the dies I'm using, I mentioned you could use any rectangle dies you have, or use your trimmer. You can do that too to cut yourself a window. I'm using the Everyday Details. These are kind of fun. So it's this largest piece that I'm using. Okay. This largest piece, and you'll notice that it's cutting me a frame, but it's also giving me the eyelet dots all the way around. So it's kind of a fun little added detail. So your rectangle die, whichever size or, you know, from whatever set you're using, it's all totally gonna work just fine. I am eyeballing it to be center here and straight. And I'm gonna put a little seat belt on it. Okay. And we'll run that through the machine here. And I do have my machine. I'll bring it over. It's not, I won't totally put it into view. But I am, you see I'm using a magic mat there. And I can see I'm not totally straight. All right, setting that through. And I do believe that's the only die cutting we will be doing today. I'll get this out of the way. And now, doesn't matter whichever dies you're using, save this, because this will be for card number 4, one of the simpler cards that we're doing. One of the clean and simple will be for that card. So we're going to use up our pieces here. Okay, so I'm just going to take my tape away, put my die away. I've really tried hard to get into the habit to put the dies away, because I have a tendency to lose them, and then when you have them out on your desk, it's like, man, what set does that go to? I cannot remember. Okay, so now let's take our DSP, and we're going to marry our papers together. And when I say marry, what I'm doing is I'm bringing the ends in so that I don't have, like, say if I did it this way, I would then have a raw edge on a fold. So I'm marrying the ends into the valley of a fold. So that's what each of these ends is in the valley of a fold. So that's what I mean by that. And I was going to unclog my glue today before class and I forgot. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. So sorry, folks. I got distracted. Newell had a big old flat tire on a trailer that was loaded with lumber. I was outside this morning. It's been a busy morning. Ouch. Shoot, Queen. I just totally stuck my thumb. I know. So Kayleen, you're like, that's amazing if that's the only die cutting we're doing. That's because of this DSP is so cool. All the die cutting's been done ahead of time by Stampin' Up. Okay, so now I'm going to glue these together, but you'll notice that I'm actually gluing them together. I'm just kind of gluing the sides and the bottom so that if I did want to turn this into, say, a pocket for, you know, I'm just giving you the idea. If you would like to make it more of a little memory, you know, if you wanted to put a fun picture of an event that you went to with a friend or something, or family member, or that you could kind of do that and slip that in there and make it extra special and unique and custom just for them. All right, so that's the inside of our card, looking good. And we're going to take our 2 pieces of Pretty Peacock. So this is basically a half sheet of, you know, it's like having a half sheet for your card, but I've just cut it in half so that I could put one on the front and one on the back and then have this kind of expanding style card, okay? So let's just glue front to back. Real easy here. Okay. And I'm just kind of gonna layer this right center on my Pretty Peacock, making sure it's pretty straight. Okay. Just give that a little bit of a burnish. Kayleen, I still like your comment. Wow, that's amazing. That's all the die cutting? Well, I've done a little die cutting ahead of time. In the kits, there's a couple banners and I've done some punching ahead of time, but yeah, that's it. Can you believe it? Okay, so that one's gonna layer right on top. And notice that I didn't flip it over. I'm just, you know, lining up my 2 quarter sheets that way, okay? And then we have 3 more pieces here. One will be for the inside of our card. This one will be for the front. These will be for the front. Before we tackle this, I'm gonna call it hollowing this out. So real quick here, I'm going to just put my edge at 1/2 inch, okay? And I'm just gonna cut a frame out of here, 1/2 inch all the way around, or close to it. Okay? Because I want to use some of this peach paper, and at the same time, I want to thin out the card just a little bit, but I don't want to give up any of my layers, if that makes sense. Okay? All right. So I didn't quite meet that one spot, but that's okay. I can just clip it out because it's not going to show. Let's see if I can clip it out. Okay, just chopping this, well, a little bit more here. And Renee is popping on. Awesome. Hello, Kim. Okay. All right, so we're going to use that. But at the same time, I wanted to kind of, because there's some pretty thick layers going in here, and it's just going to help to thin it out a little bit. Ah, yeah, your class time changed, so she's going to come back for the replay. Awesome. And the replay will be there, folks. All right. So now I just need to make sure, yes, this is my front. And so this one's going to layer on, just like so. And now we'll layer this piece on top as well. Okay. So I really like this type of pack of DSP where they've given us all these different pieces to work with. We have straight pieces of DSP, but then we have some sheets to punch out, and then we have some other sheets. It's just really, you know, I think it's really, really smart. I hope to see it again in the future. Okay, so there is that. And the last thing would be that we have a piece that mounts inside here. But I noticed that I cut it the wrong size. I apologize, folks. It should be a little smaller than what it is because I want, so if you look at it now, it's 4 by 5 1/4, and it should actually be 3 3/4 by 5 so that we get a nice chevron border around this. So here we go. Mistake number 1. I apologize. Let's just trim this down to 3 3/4 by 5, and you'll see why. It'll make a little bit of a difference. I just want to get as much show out of my paper that I can possibly get, and that is that it's going to layer right inside there. And so then when you have your card open, you get that nice little mat of the chevron in there. But before I do that, before I mount that in there, let's do a little bit of work on this. We're going to do a little bit of work on this, and in your stack of smaller pieces for this card, let's take that circle, and while these are out, we're going to give these a little bit of splatter. And so I'm going to bring in my Lost Lagoon Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to splatter knock on everything here, okay? So just a little or a lot. It got a little exuberant down here at the bottom, but that was dark. Now I might mix in a little light. Okay, I'm just adding a hint of texture and color so it's not such a stark white. So that's it on my splattering. And while we've got these pieces out, let's do some stamping. So I am stamping with the layering leaves. And I mentioned this could be any greeting sets that you want. It doesn't really have to be this one. I just picked this one because it had leaves and it kind of, to me, it fit the feel of the paper. All right. So for this first card, I am going to stamp the greeting. Our circle here is going to say hello. So, and I'm going to stamp the hello in Pretty Peacock. In fact, my stamping for this card, for the most part, is Pretty Peacock. We have a little bit of others, but not much. Okay, so here's the hello. And I'm just going to add this right to the center of my circle. And I know I'm stamping white on white, and it's a little tricky to see, but I mean, pretty basic there, folks. Couldn't get more basic than that. So that's the word hello. And then to the inside, thank you so much. Or, you know, you have other greetings. It could be hello, and it could be so happy to celebrate you, or thinking of you, or sending hugs. You pick a greeting that you want to put in the center. I think I'm going to put sending hugs. All right. Because I mentioned yesterday started rough, and it got even more weird as the day went by. So somebody I know in San Jose could use this. All right, so I'm going to put sending hugs. There you go. So I think on my original I had thank you so much, but just to show it doesn't have to be exactly the same. So that is the stamping for those right there. Now what I want to do is we're going to go back to our DSP here. Oh, so glad I didn't get that in the ink pad. And I'm going to, this piece here, it's Lost Lagoon. It has kind of like a mottled wash on it. And then it's got a nice floral and foliage on the other side. I'm going to cut a 1.5 inch strip of this. And it doesn't matter which direction. I just want a 1.5 inch strip. I had to get my ink pad out of the way. So just a 1.5 inch strip. Okay, we'll save this. We'll be using it. But what I want to do with this strip is we're going to stamp some leaves on this. And so let me see which leaves. Yes. Just wanted to make sure I was getting the right leaf image. So this is one of the leaves from the stamp set here. I'm grabbing this one and this fill piece, okay? And so I'm going to take my pretty peacock and I'm going to stamp the leaves, but I'm also going to bring my punch here, which matches this leaf set, right? And I'm going to just make sure I orient my leaves on my paper the direction of my punch. Okay, so, and actually, yeah, I'm just going to come right in here. And there's one, and we're going to do 2 of these. 2, okay? Easy, easy. Now with Lost Lagoon, okay, I'm just going to ink up the Lost Lagoon, and this is the fill for this piece. And I'm slightly off, but that's okay. I kind of like that it's showing some white spots or Lost Lagoon spots. I'll let those kind of dry for just a second so that as I reach in with the punch, I don't accidentally smear the ink while those are drying. And I'm going to switch to our piece of this stuff right here, this petal pink. And this time I'm going to cut one of these pieces into a 1-inch strip. So this is what I hollowed out from our layer that was on the front of the card. Save this, we're going to continue to use it. Okay, and I have, let's see, this is not the berry I want. There's 2 berries in this stamp set. This is the more solid. So here's the more solid and there's the more kind of wispy. So this is the more solid. And this is petal pink ink. And let's see here. So I want I'm just looking at my berries need to go this direction. So you're probably wondering, or you totally get why I've cut these into strips, because I want to be able to get the most out of my paper as possible rather than like, if I just wanted that, I don't want to have a big old punch with the flower, the larger leaf just eating up some of my paper. So, and I'm sure you guys all do that already. All right, so let's get to work punching away here. So let me line this up. I might need to bring it a little closer to me and then I'll show you. Get it lined up. So I have it lined up and then I can punch that out. I do really enjoy this. This originally was sold as a bundle last year when it came out, but it's no longer sold as a bundle, but you can still buy the stamp set and the punch individually. So look how beautiful that is, really quick. Let's save this just like we're gonna save our other little strip here because we'll be doing more leaves and berries. Now, speaking of berries, let's grab these. And so they go, oh, I should have done these the other way. All right, well, maybe we'll go upside down here. And I am working in shadows and I can't see what I'm doing. Sorry, I was like trying to put it in the light. I'm like, I hope it's right. It's so off. It's not even close. All right, well, we're just gonna go with it, folks. Let me see if I can get this one a little better. It's definitely tricky when you've got a camera that's right where you want your head to be so that you can get over it and see. Well, that one's a little better, but still not great. But you get the idea. We need 2 berries, 2 petal pink berries. And now, folks, I think we have our elements for this card. I'm going to dive into my smalls bag here. And in the smalls bag, I'm reaching in for the baker's twine and linen thread. Okay, baker's twine and linen thread. Okay, I'm going to pull out that baker's twine and I'm going to split my baker's twine in half. Okay, So split your baker's twine in half, or grab yourself about 14 inches. Okay. And then we'll set the rest aside. And while you have your scratch paper out, I'm going to, you've seen me do this before, but this is, I think this is kind of the easiest way to do this. And that is to take your twine, and I like to tape one end down so that I can hold the other end taut in the air. And this is gonna save the tip of your Stampin' Blend. All right, so while my linen thread is taut in the air, whoops, I think instead of repositionable tape, I'm gonna have to use real tape here, folks, because it just slid right out. I thought, oh, be clever and just use the repositionable tape. Okay, we're gonna use the real deal so I can put a little more pressure on it. Anyhow, you're just gonna color your linen thread, and we're gonna switch our linen thread from the linen color to peacock. And so you can use, you know, or this is actually dark gloss lagoon. Either one will work. You know, when you just reach for them, they look the same color. So I've kind of gone down the top of the linen thread, and then you can see I've gone underneath, but all while I wasn't like bending the tip. Okay, so now I'm just gonna switch it out and do the other end. New piece of tape. It's a little, but it really does actually, I think, help save the integrity of the tip of your blend. And coming from me, that's a big deal, because you know me, I destroy blends. Just take a look at my pumpkin pie, dark pumpkin pie. It's like, it's so sad. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that out and just kind of let that dry, set it aside to dry while we do some assembly work here. And let's just take a look at things and what we're going to be doing on the front of our card here. So our layers are going to start with, our lowest layer is this one here. But on my original, I actually went like this, and that is, because it's not gonna show, I took that square edge off because I didn't want it to show. I wanted leaves and things to show. So, I mean, by all means, my cuts there are not pretty, but I've removed some of that, okay? And here's what I'm gonna do. On this one, I'm going to put dimensionals only, look, a new sheet of dimensionals. I'm only doing dimensionals out here on the parts that are out on the edge, okay? So I'm gonna do 4. And then I'm gonna keep the middle free of any dimensionals, but I'm gonna do a little glue. And so again, I'm kind of hollowing out so that this doesn't get too, it's still pretty flat, even though there's all these bazillions of layers in there. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So hello, Jen Millette. She's coming on. Any questions so far? All right, so I actually have it going this direction on my original, and I'm just kind of gonna put this right in the center or close to it. Okay, there's that. And so I'm a little higher on my top and bottom, and I'm flat in the center, okay? Next layer is going to be, I think this is such a fun little punch here. So in the catalog, I think it's page 29, where you'll see the Frames and Flowers DSP. They also show the Elegant Topper Punch. And so that's what I've done with this. It was 2 inches by 3 3/4, and then I just punched both ends. And I think it's kind of fun here. All right, so I'm gonna glue this one down as well, just in the center, because I'm gonna want to try and reach under there and glue some other things, okay? So this one's going on, just right there. I just bought this punch, and I'm just gonna give a little bit of lift to the sides here, just to start a little dimension. But make sure that it's straight, make sure that it's centered to the way you like it. All right, Let's look at some of these other layers. So obviously these two are going to go together, but before they go together, we have our twine that will go in there. Just kind of giving you a heads up. Let's work with some of these layers that are coming next. So these go to the inside of the card. These two pieces are for this outer layer here. And these are a little different in size, okay? So we're gonna use the 3-petaled or the 3-leaf. That one's gonna go on the top, but I am gonna just trim that off. Give it a little glue on the back, okay? And it's going to slip right there. Just kind of like so. Maybe over a little further so it fits in the envelope. And then we'll do the same thing with the bottom one. That one is right down in here, so let me trim this one off as well. That way I know I'm not gonna start to hit up into where I've squirt some glue, if that makes sense. Okay, same deal, just opposite corner here. We'll reach that way up and in. And it looks like I actually am gonna separate it even more. Okay, so you saw I cut that one leaf off so I could reach it a little further up and in. Yeah, I just want it to be on the card, if you know what I mean. Okay, once you kind of like where it is, then go ahead and just kind of push where you know that glue so that the glue will kind of engage and stick. So that's where that's going. And then you can see my leaf colors are a little bit different, but that's because I was waiting for things to come in. Yeah, we have a few alterations in waiting for more twine and things to come in because I made the things before I had some elements. But anyhow, so our leaves are going to come in here. Ooh, I like it with the Lost Lagoon. They're going to tuck there, so we'll glue those as well. And then our berries, they're going to come in here. Kind of decorate things there. So it's just kind of 2 up, 2 down, and then we'll put our center on. So let's just glue these. Now that I've tucked them and you saw where they went. So here's this one. And then just kind of get them in areas where you think you want them. And it looks like I missed, we need one more berry. I see this bottom one, I have 2 berries in here. So there's a berry down here. And I'm gonna, just for time's sake, I'm just gonna punch myself another berry. So you want 3 of these petal pink berries on this card. Okay. So you can stamp them and punch them. Just punch them. I think they still read as a berry. So there's 2 of them there. So hopefully you can see there's 2 there. And then let's glue these in place. Okay, folks, we are almost done with our first card. And this is what I called kind of a, to me, it's a fancy fold, but it was a clever cut that made the fold really quite easy. It was an easy fold. Okay, so I think my linen thread is dry here. I'm gonna give it a quick tie. And I'm leaving fairly large loops. Okay. And I'm going to just do a little bit of Seal Plus in the middle of my circle here. And we'll attach that like that. And then I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. And I'm going to put my dimensionals like 1 high and 1 low so that I know, and I'm putting them on there so that if I put it on here, I don't accidentally kind of collide with the knot. That way I know things are going to lay more flat and even, right? Okay, so let's just get this to the angle that you like. Okay, I'm gonna pull that just a little bit and trim my ends where they were not colored with the lagoon. And now this one is going to slip in here. And it's surprising that if you layer it the way I just did with glue and a few dimensionals, we still have dimension. However, we're not like, it's still pretty thin, believe it or not. So I am going to put this one on. Now you're going to kind of go, oh, wait, she had it thin and now she doesn't have it thin anymore. But I'm going to put these dimensionals right where it is flat. Okay, so that will give me a little lift in here. At the same time, we're kind of hollowed out. Gosh, this is a pretty card. Oh, thank you, Stampin' Up, for making gorgeous products, right? So there's that. Last would be to grab. So these pearls are from the Blooming Pearls pack. So you have 6 of each color. We're going to use this peacock color on this card front here. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. Okay, and I'm going to use a big one first. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it right under in there. I'm going to do another big one. I like to put the big ones on first to kind of figure out where I want things to go. And notice I am kind of tucking them under. You can do them how you like. And then this one's just going to kind of peek from under here. And I'm going to do a couple smalls, these little bitty baby ones. We'll do one over here. And one, we'll kind of move it over that way. And then the last one in the front is just kind of right up in here by the hello. Of course, this one kind of looks like it's almost in line, but well, maybe I could move. Maybe what I'm going to do is put this one right over here, slightly different than I did on my original. But that way, when it was over here, it was almost like it was in a diagonal and it was kind of bothering me. So I just moved it around just a little bit. Okay, so folks, there it is. There's the front of the card. We have almost the entire inside done. We just need to glue a few things. And so what we're going to do is we have a couple of our little embellishments here. So I just kind of threw, just kind of added them here. Like I said, you could put a picture here. You could mount a photo there of a fun activity. Slip a gift card in there, slip some money in there. I know it's not the exact measurement, but I think it would be kind of fun to see some of that print peeking through. And then this piece is going to glue onto this last section of the card right here. Just like so. Easy, easy. So just curious, it is almost a project, Kayleen. Just curious, what do you think of this layout? It's not one I've done before. I kind of like it. It's a little different. And it's a fun way to use up some of your DSP, rather than it just collecting in a drawer or a shelf, right? Looks like I'm going to switch to some minis here and get down in here. And I'll get one more up there just to balance it. Now, I did actually take my Wink of Stella and I did paint, and I'll show that to you rather than doing it just for time's sake. So this one's going here. And then this one, I'm going to do a big and a little. Jan, thank you. All right, let me go back. Nicole says, I love all the real estate to write. Oh, that's so nice of you that you like writing long messages to your recipients. That's really cool, Nicole. Yeah, there is a lot of real estate that you can, you could add another panel here. There's plenty of space on the back where you could write. It's just kind of a fun layout. So I will say that, I do have some painted touches of Wink of Stella there. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but these flowers all have Wink of Stella on them. Not everywhere, just the flowers, just to kind of accentuate them. And then same as well as these two. So there is project number 1 done. And we will move right along, speedy, to project number 2. So let's look at our stack of papers. Let's see, where did I put mine? I put it somewhere where it would be safe. Oh, now I remember where. And then I forgot where. Okay, so if you bring your whole stack up, we are going to pull everything from basic beige. Okay, so we have a pretty decent sized piece of basic beige there. So basic beige up will be for this next project. And this is our hardest project. And it's not hard. It just has a lot of elements to it. And it has a really cool fold. And so I don't know, it might have been tricky to see in the pictures, but here's this. This is my favorite. But this is kind of an interesting fold because here's the card, but it has kind of a flap action to it because of the way I've kind of set it up, okay? So let's put this together. Let's just put the card base, the main pieces together. Then we'll work on all of the embellishing. So this will be for embellishing. I'm going to set that aside. These will be for stamping. We'll set that aside. This is our inside. This is the front, which I forgot to emboss. So maybe this one's just not going to get embossed. We'll have one embossed and one not embossed. And then you have some trim in here. This is the iridescent striped trim. This is kind of fun. This is in the new annual catalog. It's part of the Full of Life Sweet Collection, which has some great iridescent elements to it. Okay, so here's the card. Here's our card base. For those of you cutting your own card base, this card base uses a sheet of cardstock. So it's 11 inches by 5.5. So that means you have that 3-inch piece left over. But look, here it is, folks. So I needed, the paper for our leaves that we would be stamping and punching. So there's that 3-inch section left over. Or I would have just cut you a quarter sheet, but I thought, hey, there it is. We're going to use it up. That's right, in the spirit of use it up. And there are elements in here that we'll be using for this card as well. But let's just get the card together itself. So I've already folded one direction for you if you have a kit. And so let's put that so that so that's a mountain. And then we're going to valley fold this one back and burnish it. And then same thing with this one. We're going to bring this one back. So basically, as you look at it, it's like a letter M. All right? You see the letter M, or it could be a W. So that's our card base. And then on my original, I ran my original through the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. And so that was done there. So you can do that if you want. To run that. I'm not going to run mine through just because I don't have the embossing folder out and I don't want to take time to go get it, even though it would only take a second. I got to take a second for a drink. Hold on. Deja. Okay, good question. What are the measurements for the scoring? Excellent. So this is 11 inches. Our first score line is at 4 1/4. Sounds familiar, right? Then 5 1/2. That takes it and splits it in half. Then the last one is 6 3/4. Okay, excellent question. Thanks for keeping me on track. Okay, so this piece, we're going to glue it. I got to do a cleanup on the tip of my glue. It's getting a little boogie, if you know what I mean. A little boogery. Okay. So here is my layer. Again, take some time to emboss if you want to. And it could be any embossing folder. It could be the cool one that I used last week, which I don't remember the name of. But it was a good folder. I really liked it. There's a couple new folders that are brand new in the catalog that I really enjoy. So there's that layer there. And then let's just kind of look at how this is going together. Then we have a layer here. And this layer here, notice the back side. Do you remember the piece that we cut for our first card? Let's see. If you remember, we cut, this was what you had left over. So we had a piece that was 5 1/4 by 12, and we made it by 8. This is that leftover piece. Okay, so this leftover piece, and I'll give you the measurement on this, is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to just glue it on this side here. So I'm not going to glue my paper. I'm just simply going to glue the card base so that I don't get glue where I don't want it to show. And then I'm taking this piece, and I think you could see that I was kind of folding it flat so that I have a nice even mat all the way around. Jan says she has to go to the dentist. She'll catch the replay and finish later. Thank you so much. You are welcome, Jan. I'm so glad that you got here. Yay. All right. So there's that inside flap, that inside mechanism, right? And it just kind of, there it is. And then we simply have an inside layer here. And this gives you plenty of real estate to write. You could splatter it if you want with a little, maybe a petal pink. I have some petal pink Stampin' Blends out here. I didn't really add a greeting or anything to the inside of mine because to me, this was just your spot to sign the card because we kind of have an inside greeting here, or what I like to sometimes call second card front. So you have that there. All right. So there is our card base put together. Pretty easy. Now I'm going to go to my stash of my tray of everything that was for card number 2. And that's going to be in this lower corner for me. So I'm going to pull all these pieces out, and I think I'll review them real fast just for those who might not have been here at the beginning to see which pieces we were using. So, well, let's flip that over. And I'll just kind of put them here. And what you might want to do as I lay these out is take a screenshot. That would probably be the best thing. Okay, and I don't have them all out yet, so don't take that screenshot yet. Okay, hold on. Okay, and I'm going to put these kind of all together so you can see them all. Okay. And actually you need one more flower. Remember I said we were missing something? So we're going to go back to our sheets here. And you have one more. I see it hiding in this sheet here. Here's one right here. Get yourself one more flower. Okay, so these are the pieces. Let me turn this so you can get a good screenshot of that. These are the pieces for card number 2. Okay, card number 2 pieces. Screenshot. All right, here we go. So let's start with the easy stuff. Let's take our 2 banners. And so I've die cut these 2 banners for you. These are from the Nested Essentials, and it's the large and the second to largest. Okay. And we're going to stamp them with a couple greetings, simple greetings. And I'm going to stamp in Lost Lagoon. That's going to be one of my colors. And I'm also going to have a little bit of early espresso. So with Lost Lagoon, I'm going to ink up the Thinking of You image. And you could do any of your images, but ink up an image. And I'm going to switch these like this because this is going to be the first one and I don't want to accidentally do it wrong. But here's Thinking of You in Lost Lagoon. Then I'm going to take Early Espresso, and with my blending brush, I'm going to grab just a little bit of ink and I'm just going to tap in a couple spots just to get a little bit of a 2-tone effect going on my image here. I just wanted a little bit of mixed color, and you can see there's it's subtle, but it's there and it's kind of fun, but I'm trying to just kind of imitate what's happening in some of these pieces where we go from one color to another right within a piece. So that was Thinking of You. And then inside it says Sending Hugs. Again, you could, whatever greeting you want to do, go for it. There's plenty of room on this label or banner. So here's Lost Lagoon again. Just getting it good and inked up. And then I'll take my Early Espresso and just pounce a little color here and there just to get that little bit of a 2-tone effect. And so we'll just stamp that right in the center. And that is our stamping for that. But while we have our inks out and our stamps, I'm going to grab Mossy Meadow and Lost Lagoon and Early Espresso. And we're going to do a little bit more stamping, and that is with these pieces here. And I'm going to stamp the leaf image. So this is a slightly different leaf image from the layering leaves. So I'm going to ink this one up in Lost Lagoon. And with a little bit of Mossy Meadow, and it doesn't really matter what you do. I mean, you could do Mossy Meadow and Lost Lagoon. You could do Mossy Meadow and Granny Apple. It just creates some stamps and some leaves that have a little bit, and I've just mixed the color. To me, this is much more interesting than just like straight Lost Lagoon. All right. And so I might clean this a little bit. Okay. And maybe this time, let me try a little pecan pie. So I didn't do these the same, and I kind of mixed them up each time. And then maybe we'll keep going. Whoops, that was espresso. I wanted a different color. So this is Mossy Meadow. And I'm just kind of changing up my leaf color here. Okay, that's pretty. And maybe I just huffed on the image, and now we have a lighter version of that. And I'm gonna do another Lost Lagoon. This time I think maybe I'll mix Lost Lagoon with the pecan pie. So, well, pecan pie, get some of that ink off my brush. Anyway, a little pecan pie. Just to change it up a little bit. Okay, there's that. And I'm gonna do one more because I think I had 5 on the front. So I'll just huff on that. Okay, that one's pretty pale, but it's pretty. And so I like having those options of light and dark just so that not everything is so like screaming loud, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these pieces of paper down the middle so that when they go into the punch, I mean, yes, I can punch that, but then I waste that section right there. So I'm just gonna do a quick rip right down the middle so that I can cut these out, punch these out. And I definitely need to rip this one because the bow punch would end up, punching out my leaf, the little berry punch, rather. It is the bow punch. Okay, so there's a leaf, super pretty, and totally different from my original card. But the difference is I re-inked. When I made the card, I realized I needed a Lost Lagoon and a Mossy Meadow re-inker, and I didn't have them, so I had to wait and order them. But I'm like, I want to make the card. So yeah, my ink pads were not quite as juicy as they are now. In fact, they were pretty pale, pretty sleepy looking. Okay, here's another leaf. Let's catch this one. And then this last one right here. I hope I can see this one through the punch and the shadows and everything. Hold on, I have to kind of move over here just a little bit, just because it's not stamped as dark and I can't quite see it. All right, we're hoping for the best. Oh, slightly off, but it's still usable. Okay, save these pieces. You never know when we're gonna use them. All right, so let's look what else is in this little bag here. There are 6 flowers that you will need. So just dump it all out. Okay, these are for card number 5. So we're just gonna set that over there for now. But these little flowers here, we're gonna quickly distress them just by taking your bone folder in the palm of your hand and just kind of curl, all right? Just give them a quick curl. You know, you can also do them this way, but sometimes that takes a little longer. I kind of found this to be quick and effective. Okay, just breaking them down a little bit. We're not pulling them apart like we have in the past. This is, I've stamped peach pie and petal pink flowers using the Petal Park Builder Punch. So that is, you will find that. It is in the catalog still. The easiest way to find punches now, folks, that they've done a little rearranging, I think, is to just go online and type in the word punch. You will get every single punch come up, and it'll be right in one spot. So go to the online store, type in the word punch in the search bar, and voila. That way you'll find just what you're looking for. Okay. All right, so I have all of my flowers distressed, got my leaves, have all of my punch outs from the paper itself. I have just a little bit more work to do. We've stamped stuff. This right here, let's work on this. Now, our ribbon here, you'll notice I have, there's kind of a double loop bow of the iridescent ribbon, and then there's some linen thread in there. So let's take, and this is what I do, folks, is I use a long bladed ribbon scissor here. And this is how I do this, and I'm pretty fast at it. But I hold my thumb, so my thumb, you can see, is kind of holding my end on the blade, and I'm holding in between my fingers, and so it's taut. So it's giving me, you know, I'm not trying to just cut in midair. So when you have something that has a little bit of a, you know, you're pulling it taut, there's a little tauntness on it. How do you even say that? Anyhow, so you're just going to rip this all the way up. And you could use the side here where you've got the salvage edge on this ribbon. You could cut the other side off and then use the middle. But you have plenty in here, and we are going to make a double loop bow. We are not making a tammy bow. We're going to do something a little different. Okay, so I'm going to use this skinny end. The rest of that, you know, you can use that on another project. We're not going to use it. But once I've done that and cut my ribbons up, I do like to run my fingers along the edge just to kind of clean up any pieces that are kind of coming out. And at the same time, it kind of gives it a little bit of curl. All right, so you're going to want this and that second half of your linen thread ready. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my linen thread kind of running up and down, okay? Have it running up and down. And so this is going to be a cheater way of doing a tammy bow. I'm going to wrap around my fingers twice so that I have 2 loops going here, right? And you can kind of open this up. So I've just wrapped around twice, and I'm going to show you once I can get it in control here. So I just have 2 loops and 2 tails. I'm going to do it one more time so you can see. So I have my tail here. I'm wrapping around my fingers once. I've wrapped around twice. That's all I've done. I'm going to open it up just a little bit, make it a little bigger. Okay, and now I'm just going to squish it. And now you can see that I have double loops, right? And I'm just going to put that right there. And I'm going to take my linen thread and tie a knot around it. Okay. So like I say, it's kind of a cheater way of not trying to find that last little loop, but it's a little easier if you understand that way. If you want to make a tammy bow, you can make a tammy bow too. That's not a problem. The good thing is this just thinned it out a little bit. Now I don't have kind of the bulk that I would with having that knot there. All right, so now I'm going to take my linen thread and tie it in a bow. Boy, my linen thread is really not very even here, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. I'll just trim one end off. Okay, so now I have my linen thread bow is securing my tammy bow, my double loop bow. But you just want some fun stuff in here. Okay. And, you know, just kind of work with it a little bit. And if it's got a twist, just tell it who's boss. Like I have a twist right there. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like that. So I just kind of smoothed it out. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so get this going, and I'm just going to trim my one end off, and maybe trim this end since it's a little long. Okay, now my bow is ready, and now I feel like I have all of my elements ready to go. So let's just start. Okay, that pile's there, that pile's there. Let's start with the easy part, and that's going to be, we're going to start with a wreath and another wreath, and they're going to kind of sit off center from one another, just kind of like so, okay? And we're going to put this down. What I actually am going to do is I'm going to hold the two pieces together, and I'm going to add dimensionals. And so my dimensionals are going to be my dimensional, and it's also going to be what's going to hold my two wreaths together. Okay, and you don't need a bunch. And I think one more there, and that should keep me pretty balanced. Maybe a mini right in there. Okay, and that's going to go onto our card, just like so. So, I'm going to pull these all off. I'm missing this, you know, the embossing, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, and just center that on your card front like so. Now we're going to work by setting in some of our elements here. And so our bow is going to kind of come up in this area here. So I'm going to put that on with Stampin' Seal. Let me get my seal rolling here. And I'm just going to do a little bit of seal action right in there so that I can come in and stick that down. And at the same time, I can also direct, because I did a decent enough piece of it, was probably like a 1/2 inch long. Let me get that linen thread on top. And I can kind of train some of my pieces of ribbon here to flip and twist in the direction that I want them to go. Okay? So there's your bow right up in that area. Another major element here. So this is going to be interesting. Okay, I'm going to put a dimensional here and a dimensional here. And I'm just going to reach this right inside like so. There's that element right there. Make sure it's straight. And you know what? On this one, I did do a little bit of splattering. So I think I'm going to splatter right now. And it doesn't matter if I have splatters from other things. You know, if I've got a little overspray, it doesn't really matter to me because it's all the same colors. And we're just adding a little texture here. So this is dark petal pink. And I can see it filling in there nicely. Not a ton. And I'm going to do light Lost Lagoon, but I'm going to come way up. Okay, and I just did a few taps. Let me bring that up and you can see just a little hint of splattering. I didn't want to get too carried away with that Lost Lagoon. All right, we're in good shape, folks. This came together a little easier than I thought, but we still have more to go. Let's finish the front and then we'll finish the inside. So now what we're going to do is add some leaves in here. And so I'm just going to kind of pick some of these. And you know, I like to cut these ends off. It just makes it a little bit easier. And I'm even going to take that one leaf off to kind of come in here. And we're just going to flush out this wreath and make it just a little bit bigger than what it is. Okay. So that was a pretty strong color right there. So I think I'm going to come down with another strong color right in through here. And again, I'm going to take off that bottom leaf. Keep them. You never know if you need to tuck them in somewhere, just to kind of flush it out a little bit. But I'm going to add that one in there. Okay, so there's 1, 2. And let's just keep adding a few more of these. Here's another stronger color. So I think I'm going to do this one kind of right in here. We're going to do something like that. And let's see, Karen has a question. Running off to an appointment. We'll catch the remainder on the replay. Gorgeous. Thank you. You are welcome, Karen. We'll see you in the replay. Reach out if you have any questions. So that was one right in there. And I'm going to do one more that kind of tucks right up in there to kind of flush things out. So let's kind of tack these in place. Okay, there's one. And while you're doing this, I kind of cheated a little bit and I kind of bent that wreath. I didn't bend it, but I gave it just a little bit of play so that it would stand up just a little bit more. And without adding a dimensional, it adds dimension because it's just kind of, it's not, glued down rock solid, if you know what I mean. Okay. So this one's going to come way into here. We'll let that grab. And this one. And so I have a fifth leaf here. You may or may not need it. It just depends on, how when you're putting things together, what you like and how full you want it. My original I think it has 4 and a portion of some of these little cut-off pieces. Okay. And this is going to reach way over. Okay, so there we are, folks. So pretty. Now, for the flowers and the leaves, let's take a look at our punch outs here. So this punch out, this big leaf, and one of the bigger flowers, and then this spray. These are for the inside of the card. We're going to set those aside. I'm just going to kind of dump those. We're going to use these pieces here. So we have the spiral eucalyptus. Okay, so it's easiest for me to start to layer things together. It's easiest for me to start with my larger flowers. And so I'm going to start with the petal pink flower and one of these larger. And I'm not going to kind of distress them like I did these flowers. I'm just doing a little bit of a curl with my finger. So if you kind of see it sideways, it's got a little bit of a bend to it. Okay, and these are glued. I just checked. So with a little bit of glue, I'm going to start, and I'm just going to kind of offset this down a little bit. I don't want it dead center on there, but you can put it dead center if you want. But I'm just going to kind of let that set up for a second. And I'm going to do the same thing to the large peach pie. We'll take one of these flowers. Okay, this is a small, and I'm just giving it a little character. And I'm going to squirt the glue on here just because it's easier to hold that way. A little glue there, and then I'm just going to take my flower and add that, and we'll let that set up. Okay. All right, so now I think I'm going to start with this lower one. Oh, my glue came eking out the sides here. So these are, these handy little paper scrap tools. Just clear some of that out. Okay, I'm going to glue this one right in there. We'll get this bottom section done. Then we'll attack the top. So there's that piece. And look, on my original, I'm slightly lower, and I'm allowing this to come up and over the top. But each piece is a little different, and that's okay. We're going to take one of this is the last of the die cut printed flowers, and I'm going to add this. I think I'm just going to add a little glue here and a little glue there, because that's where it's going to go. And I'm going to slip that right underneath, right in there. Cool. Now, this flower here, this is petal pink, and this is the medium size, and it's going to kind of tuck, and I'm just going to bend this a little bit, just give it some natural dimension without adding more dimensionals to it. See how I just kind of lifted it a little, gave it a little more relief? This one's going to slip kind of right under in there, okay? And I can see I have it really distressed. So I'm just going to kind of pull on it a little bit here and there. And we'll add that one in. Tuck it under. Just kind of right in there. So we've got, there's 4 of them right in and along there. And if I feel like this is kind of sticking out, I can always tack it down, but I'm kind of okay with it right now. Next thing, I'm going to come in here and we're going to add our flower, and that's going to come in, and it's going to come in and over the knot of your bow, okay? And so to get this one on, I think what I'm going to do is, because I have a bit of a difference in height between the petal pink layer and the knot of my bow, so I'm going to level that out. You do what you need to do, but I'm going to kind of level that out with a mini dimensional right there, because I don't want to put this on a dimensional to stick it in there, because then it's going to be like a little overloaded. And I'm going to add some glue in here. And I might need to add one more layer of dimensional in there. I think I am. I'm going to add one more layer of dimensional just to really bring it up to the same height as my knot. Good. And then that should be a pretty easy way. Let me give this flower just a little bit more dimension. Okay. That should be pretty easy to come in there, and the dimensional will kind of tack it and hold it. And then as that glue sets up, that will hold everything in place nicely. Okay, and I'm just giving it a few seconds and a little pressure. This is peach pie. This one's going to reach right in here. Oops, I didn't want to glue that one just yet because... Oh, shoot, Queen. All right, hold on. We're going to do this piece first because this piece is going to come in here. I think I'm going to lift that. So we've got a piece of that right in there. And we have a spiral eucalyptus. And this is going to reach under as well. Just go way in there, so that it's coming down the side. Now this little peach flower is going to come in there. If I had put that peach flower first, I wouldn't have been able to slip my other elements underneath. So this peach flower sits right there. Okay. And one more peach flower is going to come right up in there to help kind of fill this area where it fills a little bit, you know, it doesn't feel quite as full because of that's how the dies were. I still have this funky loop that is not behaving. It's like, come on. Okay, here goes my peach flower. We'll just kind of reach that one right in there. Cool. And then this last petal pink, and it looks like I have one more flower there that we need to go grab off of the sheets. And I'll add this one. This is the last petal pink. It's kind of right up in there. And I have a feeling I should have put this one in first before that petal pink flower. So I'm just going to lift that up. It hasn't set. Sorry about that, folks. But yes, this one is going to come right in there. Fill that out. That's that top piece. And it looks like on my original, I have it angled down in here with this leaf, the stamped one that we did. Now this one can slip in there. And we will slip a piece of the eucalyptus. I'm going to cut the bottom off just so I can get it in there. So I'm just repeating. So I have a little bit of that eucalyptus that's coming out the side here. I have a little bit more coming out the top. And I'm going to go to my sheets here. And I think I have to have one more flower because there it is. I found it. There's one last flower here that you need to pop out. We're going to use that on this card because I knew I used them all. And I'm like, where did I put them? Now I know. Okay. So this last little flower actually is going to, I'm going to pull this petal pink one. These kind of set side by side right up in there to finish that look right in there. But let me give this one a little shape before I glue it. Okay. Just curling it with my fingernails. You guys, once we get past this card, we're doing pretty good. We won't be done at noon, but we won't be done at 3 o'clock either. Jacqueline says, hi, Liz, everyone. I'll have to catch the replay for all that I miss. I had my daughter's award ceremony and just now she's back. Well, I'm glad you're back. What award ceremony did your daughter have? That sounds exciting. All these fun end of the year activities and things. Okay, so there is that arrangement up in there. Now, there is one last piece of eucalyptus. If you want to bring it up in here or bring it coming down this way, I think for this card, I'm going to bring it this way, up this direction. Okay, I'm going to take the tip off though. Okay. So when I designed these cards, what I did is I just kept track of, I punched everything out, and, if it was used up, there was no more. So, I do have pieces left. She got 4 awards. Ooh, what awards did she earn? That's so cool. Good for her. And what is her name? Okay, I'm just kind of playing with my loops here. There we go. They were a little tangled up. All right, so now to finish the front here, we're going to take our pearls. And so we used all the peacock ones off the top. We're going to use the 6 gold here on this card. And I'm going to take the larges and I'm going to set one there. And here's another large. And I'm going to put that one on here. And notice I'm not putting them dead center. I'm kind of putting them off just a little bit. That's a nod to Mary Engelbright, who we don't really even, ever even see anymore. But I kind of like that. So that was my 3 large. Okay. Just put them where you like them. I am accenting the flowers. And now these 3 small, put them, and I'm not accenting all, but I am going to hit this one. And I'm going to hit this one as well. And I think I'm going to get that one right there, which is what I did on my original as well. Okay. So there is the front. Pretty pretty. She's a smart cookie. Well, that's because she has a smart cookie for a mom. All right. There is the front of our hardest card. And you guys, you have to do it. I did do it in my original, and that is I hit these flowers with Wink of Stella, these posies that were printed, and even some of the other printed designs, that just to give them a little bit more emphasis. So you can go through and do that. And I'll just do this last flower. I will go through and finish it afterwards. But, hello, it has to sparkle and shimmer all over. So however you like to do it, but make your card front all sparkly and shiny and beautiful. So there is with the embossing folder, there is without. Jacqueline says her name is Sophia and she got awards in English, history, science, and choir. Nice. Way to go, Sophia. I love it. Okay, so for the inside, folks, is really, 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 really easy, but I just need to bring your attention to something here. And that is, we're going to add our inside greeting. That's easy, right? So this layer is really, really easy, folks. There's not really a whole lot to it. Okay, I'm just putting these on. Sorry, everyone. Proud moment, Mom. Proud mom moment. That's okay. Don't be apologizing. We're here to support one another, right? And she's part of you. All right. So there's my sending hugs. And now for my last 3 pieces. So we have this cool piece here, and I'm just turning this into a flower, basically, and just going to add that right in there like that. Okay. So I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Dimensional there. And you know what? I'm going to do a mini right in here. Okay. Just kind of set that like so. Oops. I screwed up. Move the mini down. Move it down just a little bit so that it's not colliding with this layer. Okay. And then I'm going to do just a hint of a curl there. And I'm going to slip a mini right there in that little tiny window between the nook of those leaves. And then add this right there like that. And of course, this needs some Wink of Stella. And I drew Wink up these veins as well on the leaves. So there's that layer. And then this layer here, I do have this layer going right in here. The thing is, you have to, you know, I'd really like it to be like that, right? To me, that looks better. But if you do something like this, it's like, then do it all the way to here, okay? And the thing is, it can't interfere with this flap, is what I'm trying to say. So decorate that how you like. One cool thing, you could cut these roses out and tuck these leaves down in and put the roses on this side. There's things you could do, but just be aware that if you're not quite right, I mean, maybe just a little bit, but it will interfere with the flapping action. So decorate that spot how you like. I'll show you mine. Mine has a little linen thread. We have used all of our linen thread, but you have loads and loads of the pink, the Calypso, the Flirty Flamingo color that you could add in here if you want. But originally I had it over and it wasn't flapping. And if you look at it here, it's kind of getting curled. So that's my original. You may want to change this layout just a little bit so that that flap action, let me see here. Yeah, see, it's much better without the way I originally had it, the way it's impending the flapping. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. If you have questions, give a holler. You can always ask here in the comments, shoot me a message. Also, tomorrow night, come on to the Zoom and I can answer any and all questions there as well. Plus, we'll just chit chat and have some fun. Okay, so let's, that is card number 2. I think it's pretty. Let's move right along to, I'm going to show you card number 3 and card number 4. Okay, so I've already shown what you need to punch out for each of these. I will show it one more time and you guys can take a screenshot. But you have the semicircle on this one and you have 3 flowers, 1, 2, and 3. And for this card here, your die cuts are, you've got that and that, all right? So let's just continue on with a little bit more. And then you guys, once you see the pictures, you can put them together. So this is what I'm gonna call speed stamping. I'm going to punch, there's a berry there that you're going to need, and you're going to need one more berry for this card. Okay, let's see what else we're going to use on this card. We are going to use, let me just show you where these pieces are going to come from. So if you grab your big sheet here, okay, so this card, you will need this centerpiece right here. And it's already, you just have to pop it out. It's been laser cut. Okay. There's that one. And for this one, you're going to need this frame right in here. So I'm just popping this one out. Sorry, I'm not doing it in the screen. I'm trying to not wipe these off the counter here. Okay, there's that one. But I want to talk about this one for just a split second. So this frame pops out, right? Now, this paper isn't a true white, right? So I would save these big chunks like this because if you wanted to stamp and punch a greeting, this is a great piece of color that's going to coordinate. So this to me is a keeper, even though it is kind of trashy. So Daisha says on the last card, she likes it better with the embossing, but both are beautiful. Yes, I agree. I like it better with the embossing. I just didn't, time-wise, I forgot to bring it out and I didn't want to run, go get it. So I encourage you to do the embossing. So this is where this piece comes from for this. Now, where does this piece come from? Do you remember on your first card that you did that we die cut that frame out? And I've already lost mine. But we cut the frame out of that first card. I can't believe I've lost it. I'm so bummed. Anyhow, that frame that you cut out from the first card goes right in here. And then, so you have these pieces already in your packet. So let's just look. Oh, I found my frame. It's on the floor. So this piece reaches inside like so. Okay. So that's where your pieces are going to come from. So I would right now kind of take a screenshot of my mess for those next two cards. If you look at our stack here for these two cards, we're going to pull. So this is thick basic white and a rectangle from the Everyday Rectangles. So it's from this same set. Okay, so that's that card, super easy. Then if you look at the stack and you go everything from Granny Apple Green up, that's for this Sending Hugs card, okay? And so there is an inside panel for the Sending Hugs. It's just white. You're just going to slip it in there. So that's everything for these two cards. I really think, you know, if you just want to take a look at this, super easy. It's layer, layer. This is on dimensionals. This is on dimensionals. Easy, right? And then this one here, this one's glued, okay? And then this one, you know, has dimensionals underneath it. So they're both super, super simple. Hopefully you don't need me to do those for you. If someone says, I really need to see them put together, I will make a video for you. All right. But for time's sake, we're gonna just bypass on that because you guys are all like pro stampers, right? So I'm just gonna set all of this aside for later. And now everything left over is for our last card. And all of the pieces that we've already punched out at the very beginning of class are, I've already gathered those. Let's see, we're also going to use for this card, we are going to use I'm going to call it, it's just a strip of paper, but to me, this just screams, make me a belly band. Make me into a belly band. So we're going to use this for our belly band. And then you have these three pieces left over. Again, look, there's that big chunk because this is a frame that pops out. Keep that. It's good white. Now, I'm actually just going to clip this apart to make it much easier to handle and manage. And set that aside. You're not going to need that. We are going to need some of our DSP for this last project, but we'll get to that in a minute. I just want to do a quick review for those who have come on late to the pieces that we need. And I'm going to go through these fast. I'm just going to show them on this piece of paper. You'll have to go retrieve them. We went through and punched everything out for each card at the very beginning of today's class. These are the pieces. These are the pieces in your neighborhood. These are the pieces you're going to need. Okay, so I would screenshot. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to keep those handy to my side here. Now, this card, oh, plus you need this big old piece. This card, okay, so I've done a lot of the work for you. We have to do the cutting portion of it, but I've already done the pencil marks and the scoring, and you may have noticed that I posted something earlier today, the pop-up card mechanism pattern and instructions. So this is just the pattern for the mechanism. It's not necessarily the whole card, right? So, and I know this looks very verbose, and it is, but if you follow it word for word, you will be able to make this and it will work. Anyhow, so let's see here what we're going to do. Let's just start with some simple stuff first. These pieces here are for our, obviously this is going to be, we have these two as well. These were in our smalls bag. So let's just start with some stamping. And actually, let's take a look at the card we are doing. So this is it's a 5.5 by 5.5 inch square. And I found that that was a good fit for this big wreath. I mean, this wreath is, you know, where do I have let me just take a card base here. I'll flip this one over. It's a little big for a card. So that's why I chose to go with the 5.5 inch square. And so the belly band slides off to reveal second card. We always love that added surprise, right? And now the inside of the card is a double, let me see if I can get it. It's a double pop-up card that kind of looks like a picnic table in a way to me, you know, kind of like an A-frame cabin or a picnic table, but it looks hard. It's not so hard. And the cool thing is you have places where you can write. You could also write on the back. So the trick is to get things to go in the right direction. So let's just let's stamp our few pieces that we need, and then we will kind of get things going. I'm trying to delay the hard. So let's stamp first. Okay, so remember this scrap. Let's get some pieces stamped with that. We're going to stamp this time the berry that has, not the more solid berry, but the more, let's see if I can find it here. This one here. It kind of has, it's like the little lines. Once I stamp it, you'll see it. And I'm going to stamp these with pumpkin pie. Pecan pie, not pumpkin pie, pecan pie. Pecan pie. Okay. And I'm going to twist my stamp so that it's facing the right direction according to the punch. And I'm going to go once, twice, and one more. Okay, we need 3 of those. That was pumpkin pie. That was super easy. Now with Pretty Peacock, we're going to stamp the white circle, this white circle. I'm going to put So Happy to Celebrate You. You could select any of your greetings that fit. Let's see. So Happy to Celebrate You. Okay. This would be for Sophia, for her awards. There's that one. Then this small one, we're going to stamp this one. This is the one on the inside of the belly band for you. And this one fits nicely. So again, all of these greetings are from the Layering Leaves stamp set. So easy peasy. And the last thing we're going to stamp, greeting-wise, will be the larger petal pink circle, and we're going to stamp best wishes on that. I'm digging around for it in here. Okay, best wishes. Just going to go, whoops, I can see I didn't quite get it all inked up. Right in the center there. Just like that. Okay, so those are our greetings. We do have a little bit more stamping, but for right now, let's keep it to that because we'll need to cut out some DSP for our next stamping. But while we're here, I'm going to glue my small circle. So this small circle, you guys, I used a retired punch for this, but you could easily use any of your circle dies. Just find something that's going to be small enough to fit, you know, that's going to kind of, and it could be a little larger than mine, just to fit inside that little frame there, okay? So just FYI, this is 1 1/4 and the back one is 1 3/8 circle punches. These are both 2-inch circle punches, okay? And now let's take and punch our little berry sprigs here. So we have 3 of these. There's one. Here goes my second one. Maybe, if I can hold on to it. 2. Alicia's running to get her granddaughter. Good job. All right, catch it. Oh, good. I'm glad you're going to pop on tomorrow night. The more the merrier. Okay, and there's that third one. Okay. And now let's go to some paper that we're going to need to cut. So this is the Lost Lagoon DSP from the pack. And This is the other side of it, just if you're wondering which piece it is. And we're gonna cut 2 pieces that are going to be the exact same size. So I'm gonna put my left edge of my DSP at 2 7/8. Okay, so I'm at 2 7/8. Okay, we'll set that aside. And now I'm gonna rotate, and I'm going to make my left side be at 4 1/8. And I'm gonna need 2 of these. So there's one at 4 1/8. And here comes my second one at 4 1/8. Set that aside. We're not gonna use it, but it's a good piece of DSP. And while we have our DSP out, we're gonna cut another 2 pieces that we need. So I'm just grabbing my DSPs here. So we want this piece here, okay? And so with this piece here, we are going to cut a 1 1/2 inch strip. So I'm putting my left edge at 1 1/2. Okay, nice chunk of DSP. And we need 2 that are going to be 5 1/4 inches long. So here's my first one that's 5 1/4. And here comes my second one that will be 5 1/4. Okay. All right. That is the cutting that we need to do for this card. And that's it. Not too, well, for our DSP. We have a couple other cuts to make. I told you I'm leaving the hard stuff for the end. Get my brain ready for it, right? Okay, so let's look at our stamping. We're gonna do some stamping on these 2, and it's gonna be rather simple. I'm going to use Lost Lagoon ink and a leaf image, so it could be any leaf image. I'm going to use this one here, but I'm going to give it a quick clean because it's a little dingy right now. I got to get in those nooks and crannies. Okay, so with Lost Lagoon, Jacqueline says you have pickleball tomorrow night, so she won't be on the Zoom. How fun. We have pickleball courts that just finished in our neighborhood, and it's next to a splash pad and a dog park. So it's kind of fun over there. So there's that one. I mean, talk about really hard. And then this one is going to come down right about there. So those are the 2 that you're going to need to stamp. And that's what I've done. You can always tweak and do your own thing, but they're going to kind of align with some of the pieces we're going to put on. Okay, so let's do the front of our card. Okay, so we have these are ready. These are ready. And I'm going to put that with the 2 pieces of white. And I'm going to put these in that pile and this in that pile. That will be for a little bit later. For right now, with your card, with your fold to the left, we're going to take and add, we have this piece, but we have one more piece of DSP to cut. And that is, okay, so from this piece here, we have 2 pieces of DSP yet to cut. I'm just looking at them like, oh, sneaking up on me. And it's these 2 layers right here on our card base here. So our measurement, they're gonna be squares, and the chevron piece is gonna be 4 3/4 square. This one's gonna be 5 inches square, okay? So we have this one here. We're gonna go 4 3/4. So I'm gonna cut the short side first of my DSP. So there's 4 3/4. And then we're gonna rotate this and make it 4 3/4. I have a funny edge here, so I'm gonna rotate the other direction. There we go. So there's my 4 3/4. And then this piece here is gonna be a 5-inch piece. That across, and then there. Now we've done the cutting of our DSP. I had forgotten about that front layer. Okay, I'm glad I didn't forget too much. Okay, so let's just glue these on. And then the For You and the square frame here, easy peasy. I mean, we are not doing a whole lot there, folks. It is really, really easy. Okay. There's that layer. And then this layer. Okay. There's that. Looking good. Now this layer is going to get glued down. And you're going to want to make sure, because when you put that belly band, get to the edge because it has a tendency to catch. So just kind of get this, all those edges, just get it glued down. And it doesn't matter which way this is going, but I just felt it really fit a square card layout. It was kind of like a no-brainer. And I can see I didn't do a very good glue job over here. So this is when I just take some of my scratch paper and reach it in there. There we go. Much better. Much better. And then the For You, we're going to put the For You on with dimensionals. But before I do that, I'm going to take, we have a lot of this, you guys. You have way more than what you need. We're going to make just a little bow. Well, maybe not quite that little. It was getting a little too small. Okay. So we've got this bow going. Okay. So just a little bow. I mean, you can see it's maybe like, what is this? It's like a 2 1/4 inches across. It's just little. It's just an accent. And so with my Seal Plus, do a little right there. Reach this across like so. And then I'm going to do my, so that I'm not colliding with the knot, I'm going to do my dimensionals on this layer rather than on the back of this. That way I know I'm going to be okay dimensional wise. Okay. And we'll just add that right to the center. Easy, easy, easy. So there's our second card front. We will work on the belly band afterwards because I want to make sure that all of the fullness is in our card before we wrap that belly band so that it'll fit properly. Okay, so let's now move to the mechanism. So, all right. This is probably where you want to really focus and kind of, pay attention and kind of listen and work along with me. I'm going to slow down just a little bit, but I have already started several of these steps for you just for time's sake. So let me explain this pattern first. So the pattern, let me bring in this is my pattern right here. So the pattern that you're seeing here is an open version. You're actually going to fold it in half, and we're going to be working, and it says right here in the instructions, complete the next steps with the piece folded in half. That will, 1, save you a little time, and 2, it will make sure that your pieces are symmetrical, okay? So these first few steps were just simply, saying how big this is and to fold it in half, okay? Easy enough. So now that we have it, I've already taken it to fold it in half. Here is what I did, okay? So I've done the next step. So I'm with the folded side at the top edge of the trimmer, okay? So let me just kind of folded side, and this is what I'm referring to as the top edge of the trimmer. You're going to put your edge at 5/8 of an inch, and I shut my trimmer. And then I took my pencil, and this is a pencil. This is the one from Kayleen that I really, really love. It's a mechanical pencil, but I can reach in there, and I've just drawn a straight line, okay? And then I'm going to rotate it, and I drew one at 3/8, and then I just rotated it one more time, and I drew it again, okay? So I've drawn your pencil lines, okay? So that brings us down. I've done all that. And now what I did is, let's see, what's my next one that I've done? Align folded edge. Okay, I'm just trying to see. So I've also done some scoring for you. So let me just tell you the scoring that I have done. I'm kind of not right on the thing, but anyhow, so with your folded edge to the left, I've placed it at 1 1/4, and I'm going to move my cutting blade out of there. And what I did is I scored between the pencil lines. So I've done that for you. And so the person that I got this this measurement from and this design from, her name is Maria Mensch, and she scores these. But I don't like them scored because then you see them afterwards. So that's why I've drawn the pencil lines and done it that way. So my folded edge was at 1 1/4. Now my folded edge, I'm going to place it at 2 3/4, and I scored for you from the top of the card to the pencil line. So that's just a little score line. And then from the pencil line to the bottom. Okay? So I've done those first steps for you. Now, according to this sheet, we are going to do these last 3 bullets, okay? So we're going to do the last 3 bullets, and they are this. So this is now, I've given you explanation. Now I need you with me. We're going to put our card with the folded edge. Folks, I'm folded edge, okay? Folded edge is in. I'm going to butt it at the top of my trimmer, and I'm going to align that pencil line in the groove of my trimmer. I'm going to take my cutting blade and I'm going to pierce it, okay, at the score line. So you're going to pierce it at the score line and you're going to drag it down to your pencil line. Okay, right to there. And make sure you've pressed hard enough to get all the way through both pieces. Okay, now we're going to take the card out. We're going to rotate. We're going to put that 3/8 inch pencil line in the groove, and we're going to cut again. This time we're going to cut from our pencil line to the pencil line. Hopefully this is all making sense. It's really, mechanism sometimes can be like overwhelming, and then once you get the concept of it, you're like, oh, serious? That's so easy. All right, I'm going to rotate it one more time, and I'm going to put my pencil line in the groove line, and I'm going to cut from, and I'm going to stop. So I cut from my pencil line, and I'm stopping at the score line. So basically, you're cutting a backwards letter C, okay? We just cut on the pencil lines. Now, you don't want to pull those apart. You want to go in there, and I have a little hanging chad in there. You want to clip those. It's a little better if they're clipped. Okay, so that, let's see how the cut is on the back. Okay, I didn't quite make it through. I didn't press hard enough. And that was partly because I have a camera in my way. So bear with me while I cut these lines right here. Like I say, the camera was in my view. But there's that one. Let me rotate this way. Sorry, it's going to be way down here for you. But you get the idea. Hopefully. Any questions, you can ask me now. Also tomorrow night, I think I will make another one of these. I'll make the mechanism is what I'm saying. And I think I need a sharper blade too. I think I'm getting a little, you know when you start cutting a little bit of fuzziness? I have a little fuzziness going. Okay, so I am through. Okay, I've cut my 2 C's. I'm going to fold this back shut. Okay, we have 2 more cuts to make, and these are really easy. Really, really easy. We are going to cut. I'm going to put my fold. Okay, so hopefully you guys, you have your fold up in the edge of the trimmer here. And I'm going to put my card edge at 1 1/4. So I have the left edge at 1 1/4. Again, I'm going to take this out and repeat. The fold is at the top. Okay, at 1 1/4 with the fold at the top, we're going to make a slit here, and we're going to slit from the score line to the fold line. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of come over here on the side of it because I have a camera in my face, and I'm going to make sure I get it both layers. Okay, that was the first slice, so you can see I only went from the score line to the fold. I'm going to take this left edge and I'm going to go to 4 1/4. So the second one is at 4 1/4. I recommend starting at the score line, I think is actually probably smarter, and then going out to the edge. Okay, so just to review, you have only cut in these 3 sides and then these 2 slits. I have done the rest for you. Okay, so now let's just kind of open it up like so. And what I'm going to do is bring in the card here so we can work the folds. And the folds aren't hard. So we have a main fold going right here, right? Oh, actually, we have something to do before we do our folds. And it'll be better to do it now than later. And that is, I want you to come in and remove these pencil lines. They may or may not show, especially the ones that are up here near the fold, okay? The rest probably won't show, but a quick erase of those pencil lines. And I think that is better than having score lines where you don't want them. Okay, so now we have our, let's just say it's looked like an A-frame right now. So the center section here, I'm going to push down, okay? So this center section, okay, I'm just kind of working the center section. So I want these, the top end, I'm trying to push that one that way. There we go. So they're gonna kind of come that way. And I know the others aren't quite right where we want them, but there's that right in there. So that's our first one, okay? Now these here are going to fold this direction, okay? They're gonna fold down, and I'm just gonna kind of push it through right now. That's gonna fold down, okay? And then these that are on the sides, these fold up, okay? Up, and this folds up, okay? So now our mechanism is looking a little bit more like what it should look. Okay, the thing is, remember I said just push this down there, but you got to pull it back out on the other side now. Okay, so these should be on top. All right, so I'm just going to kind of show you this in all directions here, kind of your view. Okay, do you see why I think it kind of looks like a picnic table in a way, a backwards one? So again, I will go over this tomorrow in our Zoom session. I may make a video of just creating the entire mechanism. Whatever you guys need, I will help you with, okay? All right, so I'm just burnishing on my folds there. So those are burnished. Now I need to, I'm gonna open this and kind of bring this one back and burnish this as well. Get that one, that one. I'm gonna flip it over, do the same thing here and here. Okay, so I've burnished all my folds. Okay, and I need an emery board to come in there and smooth that out where my blade is a little bit dull and fringy. Okay, so now we're gonna take our card base here that we got ready. We're gonna open this up and we're gonna work 1/2 at a time. So here's the mechanism. I'm bringing both of the flaps upward, okay? So that's how I kind of have it right now. And I'm gonna fold these like skinny, like flimsy pieces. I'm gonna fold them up, okay? And I want to show you exactly where we're gonna be putting glue, okay? So we're going to only glue, so if you can see I have it folded in half, we're going to glue these flimsy pieces, which will no longer be flimsy once we put them in here. But we're gonna do 1/2 at a time and hope for the best. Okay, so I'm holding this, and what I wanna do is kind of get it lined up, and I'm gonna end up getting glue on me a little bit here, but I'm just kind of bringing these down Yeah, I'm gonna just have to bring them down a little bit, but I'm gonna shut the card to catch that glue, okay? Gotta wipe it off my fingers. We'll rub it, get it off. Okay, so that will glue the one side, and then we'll just flip it over and repeat on the other side. Okay? All right, so I got glue right there, so I just need to remove that adhesive, because that little bit of adhesive will make it not open right. Okay, that's gone. Okay. All right, let's do the same drill on the other side. We'll close the mechanism. Okay. And I can see I'm slightly off right there. Okay. Let's wiggle that into place. Okay. Glue. Kind of just right here. And you know what? I think I'm going to freeze right here for a second for you to take a screenshot. And I should have done this on the first side, just so you can see where that adhesive is. Okay, screenshot. Okay, and then let's just close the card. And I've got glue all over me again. Man, oh man. And so I'm just gonna kind of hold this for a second while that adhesive kind of takes hold. And you know what, you guys? That's the mechanism. That's it. That's it right there. I did it wrong. I did it wrong. Unglue, unglue. Oh, you guys, I totally blew it. Okay, don't do what I did. Hopefully nobody glued theirs in. But if you did, you should be able to pull it apart. I did it wrong. I knew I should have practiced. I'm like, oh, I got it. I got it. Don't be like me. These are supposed to go on this outside piece. Oh, I was doing so well. And then I just totally flummoxed and blew it big time. And my mechanism shot because I glued it too tight. It's set up. Okay. All right. Take two, folks. This was supposed to be on this edge. Is that where it goes? I'm totally... Why am my brain... Oh, no. I know what it is, folks. It's not quite that edge. Okay. Here's how I blew it. Okay. All right. So I am going to have to make another video. And we're going to stop. And we're going to say, don't follow this one. So what it actually is to be, because I don't have another one of these handy. Actually, I do have another one handy. And I could go back and recut everything. Is that it folds. Yeah, I blew it. I totally blew it. Okay, I'm just trying to look at my original. How did I do it so easily last time? Oh, here's what it is. These edges go here. Okay, so, oh boy, it wouldn't be stamp class if I didn't totally blow it. Okay, so you are supposed to have the glue exactly where I said, right? And I'm just going to pull this off because that's destroyed anyway. So you have your glue where I said, and what you should have done, or I should have done, and hopefully you haven't ruined yours, is this edge goes here. I knew. So you're going to line up so that this top edge and bottom edge, and then this one goes here. And this, I'm just going to kind of tuck back in there for right now. And then this one closes. Oh, Jiminy, I told you it was a weird week. Then you're going to close your card like so. Okay. So that one is in the right spot. That's where it should be. Let's see if I can salvage this one. Before I try and salvage this side that I royally killed, I am going to show you how to make this other side where your pieces are going to go. Oh boy. Yeah, it's a demo. This Papa, yeah. All right. Well, sorry that I didn't get it right, Jen and everybody else. Like I say, I think I will make another mechanism and I'll show you. I'll make a video here exactly how to do this the right way. But because I have glue there, you have 2 pieces of white, okay? And these are going to go, you're going to take that and it's going to, you're going to go flush to that fold of the mechanism, okay? But you're going to be even on the top and bottom, okay? So I'm even on the top and bottom. I'm not on the side. I'm not worried about that because I'm going to clean that edge up with this piece here. And so this piece here is going to make everything, I need to move mine down just a little. Talk about stickiness, you guys. Okay, now my brain is like totally like going, whoo, it's going to shut off here in a second. I'm still too high. Okay, told you it's been a weird few days. Okay, there's that. Now this piece is going to just kind of clean up that edge that might be a little bit crooked. So, which mine is this time. I wonder why, because I pulled it apart. Now, let's see if we can fix the other side. That'll be interesting. Okay, so that is your side there. Okay, problem is I have glue where I don't want glue. I need an embossing buddy. Hold on. I have glue in spots. So see, I have glue here where we shouldn't have glue. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Okay, but let's see if we can't close all this. Bring this over to here. You're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, but I don't have my side really anymore. I kind of lost it. Because it's ripped apart. Okay. All right, well, I don't know that I can get this together the exact way it needs to be. But we're going to try. Okay, so it's going to kind of come. You're going to close it and do the exact same thing, but because my piece is shredded, I want to cry. Okay, let me see if I can kind of, I'm just going to hope for the best. Okay, I have a few pieces sticking. Okay, so we're going to salvage it. Okay, all right, so we're going to, you put the other side in the same way I did the right side before I did it wrong 2 times and totally ruined it. But let's see if we can salvage this. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to set that piece of paper right in there. So do look for, I will show how to put this together in just a minute here. I will do a clean version of this, folks. Okay. That's what you get doing live things, but you do want things to be, lined up right on that edge, and we'll glue this piece in. Holy moly, you should see the mess underneath. It's horrible. A reality show. That's right, Nancy. So same thing as that other side. We're going to reach this piece in to where that fold is. Okay. It kind of helps disguise that fold, and give yourself an even border on the top and bottom. And then we'll make up the difference with our piece of DSP. So far, other than the train wreck in the middle here, the DSP is the right way that you put it all together. It's really, really sad. Okay. And this piece, like I say, see how that cleans that up? So now we just need to make sure we're working the right direction here. So my For You, oh my gosh, you guys have got dimensional covers stuck to me. We're going to do a little instant clean. Try and get some of the glue that I have all over the place. Get it off. Okay, so our mechanism is working. For looking destroyed on the inside there, hello, that is the way it goes. Now, let's add these pieces. So these are the 2 pieces that we stamped. I want the one that has the top right or the top left is going to go on the left. So let's glue this one in place. and it layers in on this flap nice and tight. Okay, it's not got a huge border. That was intentional. Okay, same thing on this one. I'm going to make sure that the stamping is going to go this direction. Okay. Oh, thanks, Laura, for the positive. Yeah. So wait, what did... You can't even tell there's a train wreck under there? Yeah, well, if you saw it up close and personal, you would see big heaps of adhesive with paper stuck in them. But it just might work. You know what I could do to totally save the card and not just toss it is make 2 narrow strips of Lost Lagoon and go and put them right over top of that. And I will save the card that way. Okay, so now for the mechanism design, let me bring in my original. Okay, I'll just show you that. We have some pieces going on here. So let's see here. We have 2 pieces, 2 main pieces that are for this left side. How do I fit this all in the view here? So we have this leaf and we had this one here. So the one that's a little larger but shorter is going to kind of come on top, and these are going to reach across, right? And then for this side, I've got that one and my So Happy to Celebrate You. Plus we have some berries to put in there, and we have a couple flowers as well that are going to come in here into play. So let's just set up the one side first, and then we'll do the left. Since we'll do the right side first, it's a little easier. We are going to put this on with dimensionals, but it's important that you don't go beyond this, which is totally my aesthetic, to take things and break the barrier, right? But if you do, when you close the card, it's going to stick out the side, okay? So with dimensionals, let's pop this on. So I think I'm going to do, okay, hold on where you put it. Let me come in just a little bit, because you have some that's going to cantilever over on the inside. Cantilevering over on the inside is fine. It just can't on this side over here. So I'm just going to do 3. Okay. Oh, you guys, I really need to wash my fingers. I'm just tracking glue everywhere. Okay. So this one is going to kind of come right across. And again, I'm not going beyond that. Inside, okay. Outside, no good. Okay, so let's do the same thing and add a few dimensionals on this piece. Whoops, got a twofer there. And because this is going to hang over, again, I'm not going to get them right up to the end. Okay. So this is just going to kind of reach right in there like so. Now I'm looking at my original, and of course I did some total Wink of Stella down each of these, the veins on the leaves. I'll finish those later, but we're going to use one of our little stamped berries, and we're going to add that over here to this side, and I'm going to do that with just a little bit of glue. Okay, and reach that right up in there like so. Okay, that's it for this side. For this second side, let's start with our big old, our big piece here. And it's going to kind of come up right across like there. So it's kind of like this is swooping across. There's that. And I have both minis and larges out on dimensionals here. So if you're kind of wondering, it's like you want to kind of connect the eye, okay? And then this is going to come right in here, and this is going to cantilever over, but I don't want to collide my dimensionals, so I'll put my dimensionals on this piece here. So I'm going to do a big one right there. And I'm going to do another small right about there because I know it's going to touch there. And maybe one more right there. Okay? Okay. So this now just kind of bridges the two pieces together like that. Okay? And I continued with more Wink of Stella. You don't really need to see me do that, right? And we have two more of our berries. Let's add our berries, and then we have our two flowers to add as well. So berries first, then the flowers, then the dimensionals, and then the belly band. But I promise this is probably one of the easiest belly bands you're ever going to see me make. So there's my one little berry sprig, and the other berry sprig is going to come over here. And it's going to tuck right in here. Just like that. Pretty, 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 pretty. And flowers. I'm going to put my flowers on with dimensionals for sure. Okay. And I'm going to put my dimensional on the card for this one rather than on the back of the flower. And I'm just going to kind of tuck one of these little petal posies kind of right in there, that little framing action. And then this one tucks underneath. And I got a dimensional cover in there. I don't need any more garbage in there. I've already got a train wreck. Okay, so there are my flowers for the inside. And I Wink of Stella'd everything in here. So do that to your liking. Let's talk about these, this other strip of blooming pearls. So the green ones go on this project here. Okay, I'm just trying to train my flaps upward a little bit. And these pink ones are for one of the cards that I showed you, one of the quick cards. It's for the Granny Apple Green. No, I'm sorry, it's for the white card. The white card. So that's what those pink blooming pearls are for. But let's just add our blooming pearls to the inside of this card. And let's see, where do they go? They are going to go, we're going to do a big, you know me, I like to start with the big one first. I'm going to do a big one right here. Okay. And then a little one, it's going to have a buddy. Little one right by it. Okay. And then let's do another big one over here on the left side. Okay, kind of right in here. And then, you know, splatter it with Wink of Stella and have some fun. And then you see when this closes, nothing shoots out the side. But you can see that if that did go beyond, it would. Okay, so there's your inside. Ta-da! Oops, got to train it to do the right thing. Got a little hanging chads there. All right, so now for the outside of the card for the belly band. Now, this has a lot more puff to it than it did when we first started working, which is why I'm making the belly band last, because I want the belly band to fit, okay? And so the belly band is not difficult. We're going to do a little fussy cutting on one little flower and glue it all together, all right? So here's what we're going to do. Let's take our belly band, and I want you to reach it around your card. So go from the back to the front. And I actually want you, or you do what you want. I'm going to kind of fold this so that my seam is over here on the right. So I've come across 2/3, and I'm going to take this last little section right in there. That way we're going to hide it underneath our wreath here, okay? We're going to hide our seam. So from the back, it's clean. And you just want it tight enough to fit, but not too tight that you can't pull it off and on. So a little glue there and a little glue here should be sufficient. Let me come down here a little bit more so you can see better. Bring this around. And I'm just going to give it a second, and I'm just going to hold here for a few seconds, just to let that glue kind of set up. I don't want to press it because I don't want the glue to come squirting out, but you know. Okay, so while that's setting, okay, I think it's doing pretty good. Well, it may need just a second more. Let's bring our big wreath into view here. That's going to come in and around here. And then our best wishes will come there like that. And you have enough, depending on what you want to do. If you wanted to put some in that, in our big wreath card, okay, you have enough that you can reach this around and tie a bow on the one side, or if you want to just do a bow, it's up to you what you might want to do. So if you're going to do it this way, here's what I recommend doing. If you want to do because it's going to be a faux bow. So you're actually going to do this a lot shorter, and we're going to just tie a knot. Okay, let me make it even shorter still. So I'm just going to tie a knot in my twine, okay, just off here to the side a little bit. Kind of hold my finger there, tie this around. Oh, I'm so sticky. It's so bad. Okay, we're gonna have to go the long way here just because my fingers are so sticky. Okay, so there's my one knot, okay, and I'm gonna trim this tight. Okay, and we'll do another bow. So it will look like it has a ribbon tying all around it, but I want the twine to kind of come in and be a part of our grouping here. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to put my wreath on next, and I'm going to put my wreath on. I'm just going to kind of lay it down here where I want it. Let me move this just a skosh that way so it's under the wreath. Okay, a little higher. And I'm going to just kind of, okay, it's there and right there. I'm eyeballing where my dimensionals are going to go, because you only want dimensionals on the belly band. You want the wreath to be, you know, to be dimensional free so it doesn't show in the back. Okay, so hopefully our wreath will cover these. Just be aware of that. And just center yourself in your card. That looks pretty good. So, and now I know my dimensionals aren't going to show, and I'm good with everything. I can kind of give those a push and, you know, be confident that it's going to adhere where I want it. 2 more dimensionals straddling that linen thread, or it's not linen thread, it's baker's twine. It's the Flirty Flamingo baker's twine from the baker's twine. It's a combo pack with the, there's Lemon Lolly and Balmy Blue and Flirty Flamingo. Okay, there's that. Let me bring the belly band in so you can see what we're doing. So we have 3 more pieces. We have this spray, and we have a couple pieces of the eucalyptus. The only thing we need to do here real quick is we are going to do a really fast fussy cut of these flowers. And I am taking the white edge off just because there isn't a white edge right in here. And so it would look kind of funny if it had partial white edge and no white edge. You know what I mean, Vern? Some of you new people here are going, who the heck is Vern? It's just do you remember Vern back in the day in those commercials? You know what I mean, Vern? We've just always said it. Just, you know, do you guys have any like family sayings? So that's one of them. You know what I mean, Vern? Spectacular recovery under pressure. You are so kind, Jen. All right. I will make a video. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I got so much stuff to do. I'm like, when am I going to do it? I'll find a way. I'll find a time. But now this allows me to customize this just a little bit and soften this edge, because it was kind of straight, but it softens it just a little bit right in there, right? So let's put this all on with dimensionals, but watch where I'm going to put the dimensionals. I'm going to do a dimensional on the center of my flowers. I'm going to do mini dimensionals on the tips of these leaves. And I know you can't see them very well, but you will in a second. But they're not at the stem end, they're at the leaf end, okay? And that's for a reason here. So let me just take these guys and I'll add my leaf kind of right in here. And I'm overlapping into my circle a little bit. But this is going to hollow this out, not having quite so much. It gives me dimension on the ends where I want to see it, but it scoops out the center just a little bit and makes it just a little bit more, takes out some of that bulk. Now I'm going to take my flowers and add that right in there. And then I'll glue my eucalyptus. Just kind of tuck. Whoa, way too much glue. Hold on. Just add more glue to my fingers. What else is new? Okay, so a little eucalyptus there. I think I'm going to take the end off so I don't have the issue I just had. Okay, and we'll just kind of soften that, bulk that up a little bit. And now with my leftover, I keep saying Calypso Coral, it's Flirty Flamingo, Baker's Twine, Cotton Baker's Twine. Okay, so just tie a nice sized loopy bow, and we're going to tuck the knot end inside our little arrangement here and call it art. And of course you have to wink of Stella the whole thing. That's a given, you know. I can't believe I forgot her the other day. It was just, I was like, oh, I feel so, my card feels so naked without it. Okay, so I think I have my bow kind of the way I want it. I'm going to trim my ends so that they are even. Okay, and then I'm going to just get a little bit of a glue blob in here. And you could use a glue dot, a glue blob. I can go a little faster with a glue blob. However, it makes a bigger mess. But I'm just going to kind of reach under my flowers there and add that bow right in there. And then I like to take, you can take your pick tool or a hobby blade and just kind of work that in there and get that placement right where you want it. Okay, and I kind of like that. On my original, I did have the twine and then I screwed something up and had to remake it. So that's why I did include it for this, for you guys to go all the way around. But it looks like it's tying there. But had I tied the bow there, then it would have gone up and on and it would have been a little bit weird. So, what do we have here? Garbage. Okay, we don't need that little stem. But anyway, there it is. Jacqueline, and your bow lies perfectly. Well, yes, it does better. It lies better when you kind of cut it apart and make it into two. But yeah, I do kind of play with them a little bit. So there is your double pop-up card. Okay, so here it is when it closes. Here's my original. And here's my train wreck. I'm afraid to open it. It might be stuck in spots. From Joseph Wambaugh novel. What do you mean, Dean? Okay, I don't know that reference, so is that something that your family says? That's cool if it is, that your family knows it. So it's that, and we have another one that we were talking about the other day from the movie Splash. There was a line at the beginning and he says, we're not a twin. I'm not a twin. He tells him he's a twin or something to these guys, meaning they were stupid. I'm not a twin. And so that's what we say whenever we're, don't be dumb, Anyhow, so Kat says, can't wait to get her cards started. Perfect projects, fantastic projects today. Thank you. Okay, so again, I'm going to show how to glue the mechanism into the card the right way. So I should have just glued the pink one in. Yeah. All right. So let's just take a look. We have done our pop-up. We've done our fancy, fancy wreath with embossing, which I prefer, or without, depends on, what you have nearby. And then our cool, I really like this kind of our we'll call it a real estate card because it gives you lots of extra acreage for signing things. Then you do have these 2 extra bonus cards that I think you can put together with ease without needing a video. So, and if you do, let me know because I'll help you out. All right. Thank you for your patience today and for the craziness of our pop-up card. It wouldn't be real, you know. All right. So anyhow, folks, happy that you've been here. I will see you tomorrow night. Hopefully some of you can come by and say hi and we'll have a good time. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.